Hey everyone, David from SundaySounds.com here, and in this video I'm going to help you do a second application of your nanoKontrol2 skin. So if you're not happy with the first application and you decide that you'd like to remove the decal and try again, as long as you just made your first application attempt, then you should be able to do this as long as you take your time and you're careful. I just wanted to give you a little bit of feedback on what I found works the best to be able to remove the skin and place it back on successfully the second time. It's really important that you take your time because the number one thing that's going to cause issues on a second application is stretching out the vinyl decal when you remove it. So to start off with, what you want to do is you want to go to the strongest end of the decal, and that's this top left corner. And if you've just applied the decal and then you're about to take it off, it should come off pretty easily. You just want to get your thumb under there and start to peel. And the important thing is to not yank too hard at once. You just want to start at the end here. You just want to start to peel it up. And you want to get your fingers and keep them as low as possible so that you're not pulling up at the top here, because that's when you're going to start to warp these cutouts. The most fragile part of the decal is these long cutouts here. So it's the easiest to get a wrinkle at the top or the bottom because you've stretched them out too far. So when you get to each of those, you want to go especially slow, and you want to peel above and below that space. And then when you start to see right here, you start to see that come up, you want to get your thumb underneath it and help it along like that. The other thing to be mindful of is to not overthink this. If you just put it on, then the vinyl adhesive really hasn't taken strong hold yet. And so as long as you're careful and methodical, you should be able to peel this off. You just don't want to go too fast, and you want to kind of baby those long cutoff areas. So we're gently just prying it all the way across. You're being careful with those specific areas. And then don't squeeze the decal too hard between your fingers because you don't want to take all of the adhesive off either. So just a light touch and often sort of reset. You see how I'm often like just retouching the device there so that I'm not just focusing all of my pressure on any one point and wearing out the adhesive. So if you take your time here and you make sure not to let it get stuck on itself, see how I'm sort of folding it down as I go, then you should avoid stretching the decal out too much. It might not be possible to get this off without affecting any of the cutouts at all. So just know it's really important that you do your best to get that first application right. But if you take your time here to take it off, then you should be able to get a pretty decent crack at a second attempt. So then you peel it all the way off there. And I would recommend not cleaning the device off in between, because you might still have a little bit of that adhesive on there. Not much, because it comes off really clean, but it's a good idea to just go right back onto it right away. If you don't put it on again right away, then most likely the adhesive is not going to work for you later on in time. So you want to take this off when you are ready to reapply. So after you've taken it off, you want to sort of visually inspect it and make sure you don't see any big wrinkles. And if you see any areas of inconsistency, just kind of smooth them out with your finger as best you can. If you've taken your time, you shouldn't have any big areas to focus on. And just know that there is margin built into all the cutoffs, so they're not all entirely symmetrical in 90-degree edges or angles. And that's original to the decal, so don't feel like you've messed it up if it looks like that. Okay, so then once you've done that, you're going to go back and just do the same technique as before, holding it loosely on each side and letting it sag in the middle onto the device. And then you want to keep your eye on that bottom edge where the lip is. So let the green squares fall. And then place based off of that bottom lip. If the decal is going down straight on that bottom lip, then you're going to have a great application. And then just let it fall on the right side. Then go over here to the left side and just lay it down like so. Resist the urge to fix right away on that left side. Don't do that. Let it lay on those buttons. That's fine. And go over to the right side here, and starting at the top, you're just going to smooth it out. So close to the edge, you just want to push it out, and then in between those buttons, you want to push to the left. We're working from right to left, and we're pushing out to the top, and we're pushing down to the bottom. You just go across like this, If you see any ridges or wrinkles forming, you may consider pulling off and reapplying right here before you push anything further down. But if you know that it's because you warped the unit a little bit when you're pulling it off, go ahead and press it down and just kind of ignore those areas, and then we'll talk about how you can sort of smooth them out in just a second. So then you're going to work your way all the way across here. If you see any minor wrinkles forming, that's probably okay. You're probably going to be able to work them out in just a second. And again, when you get over to the left side, if those buttons are hanging up, just kind of tweak the button right there to let the device fall around it there, to let the decal fit into that space. And there you go. You've got the device, or the skin applied to the device. If you run into any wrinkles that you cannot smooth out with your hand, you might take a flat object like a guitar pick or a credit card and just gently push down the ridge of the wrinkle. So if we had a horizontal wrinkle right here where this white line is, you would push with the ridge, and you're just kind of trying to disperse it out in both directions. You don't want to go across it like that or like that, because then you run the risk of furthering the stretch. You're trying to just sort of smooth it back out. So with a second application, as long as you're really cautious as you remove it the first time, then you can generally get really good results on a second application if you're not happy with how the first went down. So I hope this video was helpful and that you enjoy your nanoKontrol2 skin. Thanks for watching.